Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Write this down.
All right.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Let's go on the record here. The only show in America that has the stones, the cojones, enough to put statistics next to our predictions. We do it here every week on Purple Daily and on the OG edition of Write That Down on Mackie and Judd. And before we make our weekly predictions and before we hold each other accountable, let's go to Quick Trip here, Judd. Let's start the morning off the right way.
This is a great call. In fact, let's stop the car right now. There's Quick Trip. Let's go inside and let's explore how a convenience store could be more like a grocery store than a convenience store. Only you can leave in the convenience part. As you can see, all of the options here. We're talking about snacks. We're talking about breakfast or lunch. Forget your lunch for work. Forget about your troubles because Quick Trip's got you covered at every turn. Also, you've got the quality gas guarantee as well. Basically, everything that you could possibly want at Quick Trip, your one-stop shopping, your place to stop. And if you don't have time, guess what? They've got the mobile app that you can put on your phone, and they will have everything ready for you. It doesn't get better than what our friends at Quick Trip provide.
No excuses. Quick Trip. That's the new slogan.
Yep, exactly right.
North American Banking Company also powers these Write That Down predictions every week on Purple Daily. Minnesota-based since 1998. If you are looking for a better banking experience, if you're looking for a more human banking experience, personal connection, people that will sit down and discuss face-to-face your needs, your wants, your goals. It could be checking and savings related. It could be a big project or help with the mortgage process. North American Banking Company with 6 locations across the Twin Cities can help you. We appreciate their partnership here on Purple Daily, helping to keep this a daily Viking show. nabankco.com/Mackie. That's nabankco.com/Mackie. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, gents. Let's start with the rules here first and foremost, because there are some people that jump in and I just discovered this show. What is this thing that you guys do every single Wednesday? Well, it's called Write That Down. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show. They must be quantifiable in some way, and we keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. If you want to be a guest listener participant, Adrian's about to do that in a couple of minutes. You can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled for sometime, hopefully, later on this calendar year. All right, should we jump in, boys?
Let's do it.
Yep, why not? Okay.
Not a ton coming off the board this time of year. You know, it's kind of the dead of the offseason, but I think we can take this off the board because it's been announced. So Judd said the Vikings will be on a version of Hard Knocks within the next 2 seasons, and this season would be the end date for when you made this 2 years ago.
Yeah,
the Buffalo Bills are going to be the Hard Knocks team, according to the internet.
Yep, not happening. Not happening. Very unfortunate. The Vikings would have been a great team in training camp, JJ McCarthy storyline, all the free agents, but unfortunately they are not the team.
Between you two, has this prediction been made every single year in the history of Write That Down?
It's been made.
I've been making it a lot.
I think it's been made 4 times by Judd. I have a variation of it that's through 2026 that like Netflix will do a coaches documentary.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome. I don't know if the NFL or coaches would allow that type of access to the back room, drying up X's and O's.
Depends on the coach, I think. It's a great idea. Like if you got McVay, I could see it for sure.
He's pretty media friendly guy.
Yep.
Sean McVay. Okay, nothing came off the board for yours truly here, so we'll highlight one that's still on the board. I said last year, Michael Juergens will be a week 1 starter at center in 2025. Now, Ryan Kelly is injury prone.
I was going to say, you're hoping that Ryan Kelly steps in like a sprinkler head or steps on a sprinkler head.
Trips over the chains during full team practice. Listeners, one thing came off the board here. Wesley said Alex Boone on the next episode of O-Line Committee will say at the same time or but at the same time a minimum of 6 times. So a couple things. Wesley poking fun at verbal crutches here which is in poor taste, Wesley. But so Booney had to leave the episode early yesterday because he had to go pick up a bajillion kids. So as Jeremiah and I handled the bulk of the O-line committee episode after Booney left, and I did not count 6.
Okay.
So Wesley, if you want to double check my counting on that, you can go. Booney was on for like the first 25 minutes of O-line committee yesterday, but I did not count 6. So we're gonna buzz this one.
Picking on verbal crutches is a very slippery slope, by the way.
Very
It's
slippery.
a very large glass house that people could
very
potentially be
slippery
throwing
slope.
stones in. Yes.
Yep.
I would not be going there.
Okay, Dex, nothing came off the board. So we'll highlight one that's still on the board. You said at some point in the year of 2025, it'll be announced that US Bank Stadium will host a future combine or draft. What is the latest? Because I feel like
The draft's been announced, right, for 2026. That's where's that going?
NFL draft feature sites.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was announced.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
And then the combine to this point is always in Indy, but they've talked about moving it around, right,
Yep.
Judd? Isn't that?
They've talked about it, but it's such a convenient location, and like all the stuff is in place. So I think your best hope was the draft,
Yeah,
which
probably.
they're still trying to get here pretty aggressively, but
Be so much fun.
it was just in Green Bay, so they probably wouldn't come back here for a little while since it was just in the Midwest.
So they have announced locations for the next 2 years, 2026 and 20. So 26 is Pittsburgh, 27 in DC.
Oh,
So I guess they could, if they announced, the way Declan would get this correct is if they announced by the end of the 2025 calendar year that the 2028 draft takes place in the Twin Cities. So it's kind of a slim road there to victory for Old Dex. Okay. All right, so here's the season stats. The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl. I'm sitting at 58.8% completions. Judd, 45.5%. Dex, 39.5%. Listeners, 26.7%. Listeners still looking for their first touchdown on the season here. A little disappointing, listeners. Yeah, I think the listeners, historically, they've got 60 touchdowns, which is second all time. I have 61. Declan leads the completion percentage all time at 37%. Stats go back to 2021. So there you have it. There's your accountability session, gentlemen.
Write this down.
Easy peasy. Let's get our guest listener predictor, Adrian, in here, making his debut. Now, Adrian told us off microphone that he originally had plans to do this from his Vikings man cave that includes a Jaron Hall game-worn signed jersey.
No, just game worn jersey. Let's not overinflate the value this time.
It's already worth $1 million. So
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I know everyone else is jealous, but yes, that is the most unique thing in that man cave.
Wow. So how did you get your hands on the prestigious Jaron Hall game-worn jersey?
So NFL.com will auction off the premier jerseys that everyone really wants. So they had a couple of people. I think Josh Oliver was the biggest name out there, but Jaron Hall, maybe one other guy was bidding against me. If that's you, I'm sorry, but I ended up getting my hands on it. It's like $150, $200, something like that. So
Jaron's family is just mashing.
No, it's Jaron himself.
Jaron,
I want my jersey back.
It's amazing. Do we know which game he wore the jersey in?
I do. It was the Chiefs game at US Bank Stadium that we fell short on. So this was
so a game is a backup.
Yeah, he didn't even see the field. I think he was on the roster that day, but that's about it.
Yeah. I was hoping for like the Falcons game, that Packers debacle when he got pulled at halftime.
Falcons game where he was at the second drive, he's just lying motionless on the ground. Isn't that the game? Did he get like a concussion or something?
Yes, he got I think stopped short of the goal line and was concussed. And then Dobbs.
Anyways, enough about Jaron Hall's misfortune. Give us your background as a Vikings fan. What are some of the earliest Vikings memories you have?
Oh man, so my Viking story could be considered sad to some. I grew up in Central Florida. Walked over to my grandfather's house one day when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and football games on TV. Who's playing? Well, the Vikings and someone else, and so decided I'm a Vikings fan. And the next day, it sealed the deal for me. I went to my school's store, and when they used to sell the number 2 NFL team pencils, I don't know if you remember that. Yep. They had a Vikings pencil, and that's if the Vikings were big enough to be sold in the school store, that did it for me. So
Wow.
luckily they were about 2 hours away from us from where we grew up to Tampa. And Tampa was in the same division as the Vikings. So we go every year. My dad was nice enough to take me. He didn't care about the Vikings or the Bucks, but he would take me every year. But the Bucks were so bad in their creamsicle jerseys and things like that I just assumed the Vikings were fantastic. But I guess the memory that sticks out the most is the only fist fight I ever got in my entire life. I was wearing my Warren Moon t-shirt, giant picture of Warren Moon on it. Warren Moon scrolled across it, and the kid had the audacity to tell me that he wasn't the best quarterback in the world. So
Oh yeah, you have no choice but to throw
yeah,
hands.
had to pound on him.
Did you win?
So yeah, it went 1-0. So it's in my life. But
Undefeated.
anyway, blasphemy like that could not be let go. So, through the years, I've gone to a lot of games. It's been hard to follow from Florida. That's why I appreciate you guys so much. But one day it'll all be worth it. So
Those pencils, I had a full set of those in third grade, and I'm
Right.
going to tell you right now, I still remember it crystal clear as a highlight that I had all of the pencils.
Yeah.
were you convinced that the entire set was going to be worth a lot of money someday, like I was, as long as you didn't sharpen them?
I mean,
Yeah, I used
think
to
I
I
used
used to
them.
save unopened packs too. Same thing, because it's like, wait, if I start sharpening this, then it's gonna ruin it. So I was the same way. I would use the yellow pencils for actual writing, and I'd save the unopened packs of,
I use
or
my
like
pencils.
just not use the NFL pencil.
I mean, some are going for like, I'm seeing on eBay right now, $31, $150, $45.
That's
See?
what they're listed for. Or that's what the bidding's at.
Both. There's some that are buy it now, some that are bids.
I
Look at my
also
pair of
had
pencils.
the old school metal at the time, I believe, lunchbox with the helmets on it, which was awesome.
Every time you opened it, the NFL Films music would play. You pulled out your bologna sandwich.
It was
Capri Sun.
19. It was, I believe, it was 1978. So you'd probably have to go back and find the old CBS NFL Today song.
That's a classic. Yes. Love it. By the way, Central Florida, I mean, you're right in the middle of, you grew up in Dante Culpepper territory there, right? I mean,
He actually went to UCF the year after he left. So I have a Dante Culpepper jersey. He's about 2 sizes too small, which is why I'm not wearing it right now. But it's that was probably one of the most excited I've ever been for a draft. So
love it, man. Love it. Well, let's get started here. Adrian, you're going to kick us off with the first prediction. Over to Judd, Dex, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around. And
Write this down.
if you're ready, we're ready. Let's fire it up.
all right. So in true listener fashion, I'm not going for completion percentage. We're just going to chunk it down the field. So
Yeah, you guys need a touchdown. Let's make it happen.
if any of these aren't touchdowns, please let me know and we'll change it. But write this down. JJ McCarthy's first touchdown pass will be to TJ Hawkinson.
All right.
Yep,
Little,
very
little
specific.
safety blanket
Very
from
specific.
the 3-yard line. Little play action, play fake to Jordan Mason, and then TJ Hawkinson leaks out, or maybe cuts across the formation. They're faking to the right. Hawkinson comes across.
Tip ball, Hawkinson pulls it down. I don't care, however it comes.
Just wants the touchdown.
Write this down.
Poor guy just was like, I don't care how it happens. I just want that touchdown.
It's a fumble. Hawk picks it up, fights off 3 defenders. All right, Judd.
Write this down.
All right. Anthony Richardson will be traded or let go by the Colts either during this season or immediately after it. So this will be this last season with the Colts. I should say up to March, I guess. But the point being is Anthony Richardson will not be a Colt in 2026.
Okay.
Okay.
I think
feel
he's
like
gonna-
you've got a run on Anthony Richardson predictions. I can see a narrative building up here, because one of your predictions is that Anthony Richardson will be a Viking by the end of the 2027 season.
Yeah.
It's
I
like a futures
feel
prediction.
like this is it. I feel like the Colts are going to bail here.
Judd building the narrative. Welcome to KOC's
what I
QB
do.
rehab school class of
what I do.
2027. Anthony Richardson. Let's make it
Damn it,
happen.
it's my calling in
this
life.
down.
Build narratives.
Dex.
All right, write this down. Jordan Addison will be suspended for exactly 2 games. So I'm going for the exact number here, just 2 games. It could be 3. I think it's going to be exactly 2. So write it down.
Okay. Be very exciting. That hearing is coming up in 3 weeks. Well, maybe we'll go live on Purple Daily and follow it on Court TV. I don't know. Okay, Judd, I'm going to need you to take
Write
your
this down.
headphones off for this next prediction.
Boy. All right, hold on. I'll mute this.
Yeah, we can wait.
Take those off.
We got
All right.
plenty of time. It's the off season. Okay. I was going to make this last week, but then I just full disclosure forgot to. Dex and I talked about this one off microphone, and I'll bring it to the table here. So Judd, write this down, will include JJ McCarthy's child in a pie chart of blame or a write that down prediction. It could be unborn or it could be recently born, but he will include JJ McCarthy's child in a pie chart. I'll say pie, not blame, but just a pie chart segment or a write that down prediction before the end of the write that down season.
Okay.
So between now and the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And the way I could see this manifesting is JJ performs poorly and Judd questions if he's getting enough sleep because of the child. Like, there's different ways this could come off the board.
So a couple things. Number one, I will say child or like fatherhood, right? Like fatherhood in general, him being a dad. Like
yeah.
that's in the same stratosphere, obviously.
Yes, yeah.
And then are you saying it has to be like a piece of the pie, or are you saying it like he has to bring it up kind of in passing? Like, did he get enough sleep? And this is why.
I will say specifically. Well, I mean, I think it'll be it when you see it.
Okay.
But it'll be part of the pie chart or part of the write that down prediction.
Okay.
Will include being a dad or JJ McCarthy's child. Okay, you can come back. Sorry, Judd.
All right.
Sorry, it took a minute there. We had to quantify it and just make sure that it was
just protecting the sanity,
trackable,
the rules. Yeah, write that down.
Yeah, and it could, full disclosure, come off the board on this very episode.
All right.
Watch your step.
Interesting.
Write this down.
Okay, we're back to Adrian here. Second prediction.
All right. Write this down. The Vikings' first 5 games, we will win by 10 or more points in at least 3 of them.
Ooh,
Wow, dude.
I
Wow.
like this one.
I believe in JJ.
Ouch.
Optimistic. Okay. So you think JJ is just going to come out just gangbusters, not going to look like a first-year starter?
He may, but I think our defense will also be a lot more dominant this year. Now, Judd has gotten mad at me on Feedback Friday for being an eternal optimist. So it's
an aggressive
know that ahead
prediction.
of time.
It's an aggressive prediction, that's for sure. But
Write this down.
I am with you on McCarthy. I will say that. I'm with you on McCarthy. I think he's going to be just fine. All right.
Yeah.
Write this down. I'm actually going to delve into the world of college football.
Wow, look at
And
this
more
guy.
specifically, during a dead time, I'll write that down on your Minnesota Golden Gophers. Be prepared to key up the rouser. Gopher safety Coy Parrish will be named an All-American by the Associated Press this season. There's 3 teams, but there's only 6 total. So it's a very exclusive club. So there's 3 teams. There's a first team, a second team, and a third team, All-America. But there's only 2 spots per team. So it's not
What do you mean? Like
for safeties.
Okay. I
For
was like-
safeties.
Like 2
Yeah.
players
So-
total? Okay.
No,
So
for his position
So
group.
first team All-American is 2 safeties. Second
team
team
is 2,
All-American, got
and
it.
third team is 2. So there's only 6 spots total available at safety.
Okay.
Coy Parrish will get one of those 6 spots.
Okay.
Yeah. Was he, okay, dumb question. He wasn't one of those 6 last year, right? He was a really good player. He was like all Big Ten. He was not one of the Big Ten teams, right?
Yep. No, I'm not going with that stuff. That Big Ten stuff, because I think he'll easily get that love. I'm saying national stuff. This kid's
Yeah,
got
I think this is a touchdown if it happens.
This kid's
'Cause-
gotten pro written all over him.
Yeah, you can make a note there. This will be a touchdown because you're going up again, even though he is one of the better safeties in the country, but there's a lot of dudes, like NFL caliber guys in the Big Ten SEC. So we'll give you a touchdown.
He's also going to
Write
catch
this
some
down.
passes, score some touchdowns on offense, boys. It's a big year for the Gophers.
RTB, baby.
Gophers
RTB.
101. Sounds like an episode.
Yeah.
Darn right.
All right, write this down. I think this is a pretty low bar for him to clear, but this is what happens when the Vikings don't have a lot of rookie quarterbacks or first-year quarterbacks making starts. So I know that he's not technically a rookie, but it's his first full season as a starter. So Teddy Bridgewater holds the record for Vikings rookie passing yards. It was 2,919. JJ McCarthy has 3,000 passing yards by week 12. By week 12. I was going to do it the whole season. I was like, that is such a low number. Like, even though they're going to run the ball like crazy, he will have at least 3,000 yards by week 12. Passing yards.
Yep, love it. I'm gonna
Write this
kind
down.
of piggyback off the JJ McCarthy yardage thing. So you know how the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer in the history of their franchise, and like Caleb should be. You've got for God's sakes, you have a 17th game. You have an offensive wizard as a head coach now, new offensive line, and maybe he does get to 4,000. But write this down. JJ McCarthy will finish the season with more passing yards than Caleb Williams. Give me the KOC offense. Give me the Vikings infrastructure.
Yep.
Give me JJ not running around like a panicked idiot every time the ball is snapped. Caleb Williams, he did it at USC. He did it last year with Chicago.
Write this down.
Are you not aware? But Ben Johnson, I mean, he
on
is
schedule. I want you to play
he's the
on
best
schedule.
coach in the NFL as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I've got my NFL head coach rankings coming out here in the next couple weeks on Purple Daily, and I'm trying to decide: do I put Ben Johnson number one, or do I create the S tier, the Declan Goff S tier?
I didn't come up with
here's
the S
all
tier.
the coaches ranked, and then Ben Johnson's
Never heard
in
of the S tier till Dex told
but
me.
look at the
now.
comments in that
Kid
Twins
fluff.
video, and they are all ripping you two for never hearing of the
Yeah.
S tier.
Yeah,
It's
I had no
it's
idea
a very
what the S tier
widely
was.
known thing.
I had no idea what
I
the
turned
S tier
40
was.
and lost all touch with any sort
man.
of
I'm 40.
young culture.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Adrian here for his third and final prediction.
All right. The eternal optimist and the JJ train are going to keep rolling here. Write this down. JJ McCarthy will throw a touchdown pass in at least 18 regular season or postseason games this year.
Oh, okay.
I think we might have two
this
games
is a
that
parlay.
he doesn't throw a pass, so hold on.
You're saying, just to be clear, you're saying he throws at least one touchdown pass in 18 different games this year.
That's correct, yes.
Which is by nature a parlay, because you're saying that they will absolutely play in the playoffs.
Yep.
So this is a parlay, and it's got to be a touchdown.
I hope so.
I love this. So there's a few ways he could do this. He could either throw a touchdown pass in all 17 games and then a playoff game, or maybe he throws a touchdown pass in 14 regular season games and then picks up 15, 16, 17, and 18 in January and February.
Well, we'll have the bye, so, we can't go that route.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, you're right.
Oh, yeah,
So
no,
it
he's
would have
giving
to
him the
be-
bye.
We're
No,
obviously
it would
going to
have
have
to
the
be
bye.
15 regular
Yeah.
season games and then the bye and then 16, 17 or whatever my math
Unbelievable.
is. Yeah, love it. dude.
Unbelievable.
So, wow, Adrian coming in, just pumping the zone, throwing fastballs. Since you've got this life-altering platform here on Purple Daily, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out in your life?
Yeah, I'll make it quick. My wife is not born into football. She puts up with it. I appreciate her. She goes to a lot of games with me. She puts up with me screaming at Sam Darnold from 2,000 miles away to throw the ball before he gets back. So, my daughter legit asked Santa Claus for a Vikings championship a couple years ago. So she's fully on board and has this poor girl in her veins. And then thank my son. He's the only one that can sit in a room with me for an entire game. So because I get a little animated sometimes, but other than that, my dad, who took me to a bunch of Vikings games when he couldn't care less as a kid. And finally, you guys, y'all, fill that Vikings void on a daily basis. And it saves me from having to listen to satellite radio and hope for the 2 minutes of Vikings talk to come on while I'm in the car,
Pat
Bill Leckus.
Kerwin,
Jim Miller. I don't know about the Vikings. Next, let's talk about the Packers.
Rich Gannon. You guys are the best. Let's talk about the Vikings for 30 seconds. Oh, man.
But thank you guys. Y'all do a great job, and I appreciate your passion for this. And you also mellowing me out some from setting my expectations for a little bit lower than where they would naturally be.
Thank
Love
you.
it, man. Adrian, great stuff. Thanks for the kind words. And let's do it again sometime.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, guest listener, predictor, Adrian, holding it down in Florida throughout the years. Okay, before we make our final predictions here, 2 men in a truck are here to help. It's summer moving season. A lot of people moving and shaking. 2 men in a truck is here, Dex.
Yeah, 2 Minute Truck was able to help me out, made this move possible. Help my sister out. They just are making sure that move is a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about hiring your friends or figuring out who has a truck. They have the trucks. They have different size trucks. They will make sure all that stuff is moved appropriately and safely and in a timely manner. No hidden fees or service charges. Tell them that Purple Daily and myself sent you. Go to 2 Minute Truck to book that next move.
Also, Fireworks Forever. It's 4th of July season here. Be safe with your fireworks. Fireworks Forever can help you with that.
Yeah. More boom for less bucks at Fireworks Forever, which is family-owned and locally operated. 2 locations, one in Somerset, Wisconsin, one in St. Croix Falls. And they have QR codes, too. So in case you're looking like, hey, I'm looking at this firework on the shelf, I don't even know what this thing does. You scan that QR code. It makes life a little easier for you. They also, if you go to their website, they have coupons, they have pricing, they have full inventory. Go to fireworksforever.com. Go stop into the locations in Somerset or St. Croix and tell them that Purple Daily sent you. That's Fireworks Forever. More boom for less bucks.
All right, boys.
Write this down.
Final trip around the room here, Judd. What's your third and final prediction?
Okay, I believe, because I went back and did a Control F, and because I was shocked. I believe I've not made this prediction yet, Phil, but if I have, and I just missed it, tell me.
Okay. I'm ready to comb through the spreadsheet of historical data here. Yeah.
The Falcons will trade Kirk Cousins before week 1 of the regular season. I did a Control F. I'm shocked I didn't make this prediction at some point. Like it was the most obvious. It was top of mind, and I'm like, oh, I can't make that prediction. I've made it before. I couldn't find it.
No, I think the only active Kirk Cousins prediction you have is that he'll be a starting quarterback for an AFC team this year.
Okay.
Which, I mean, maybe you backdoor that one.
Okay, but I did not have. Okay, cool.
Fell swoop.
So he will be traded before week 1 of the regular season, which means a training camp trade. A quarterback goes down, something happens. It's a situation that I don't know how long it can last there.
What is the % chance Kirk Cousins is the Vikings' backup quarterback for week 1? Is it 0 or is it non-zero?
No, it's non-zero. It can't be. It's non-zero.
10. I think 1 in every 10 chances, yeah.
I put it at 2. I don't think they would do that at this point to McCarthy.
I don't think it'd be doing anything to him. Like, it would be it'd be doing something to Sam Howell is what.
Yeah. If something happens to McCarthy, let's say there's a tweak in the knee, let's say that something happens, then it goes way up.
Yeah.
But if it's McCarthy, goes through training camp, he's fine, he looks good, I don't see it. But I also don't see Kirk staying in a place where it seems like the situation would be, how do you say it, toxic.
Does he? But they've kind of moved forward. I'm shocked he's still there.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
They paid him a roster bonus. So was it like a $10 or $15 million roster bonus, knowing he was going to be this expensive backup?
Yeah.
I'm sure during the game of musical chairs, when the Steelers and the Browns are filtering through quarterbacks and a couple other teams, there had to have been some interest and maybe some offers. But then again, he has a no trade clause, so he can just drop the hammer and say, that's nice. They'll give you a second round pick for me. Screw you. Release me.
Which is Kirk, yeah. That's
true.
And
it's offsetting language, too, so he would just sign for the minimum, and then his money would come from Falcons LLC.
He's going to do everything he can to screw the Falcons.
Yeah. It's in a very low-key, passive-aggressive, aw shucks sort of way. Right?
I'm not the bad guy here.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I just show up to work most days, 6 days a week. Certainly not Tuesdays.
The beautiful thing, though, as a backup, no one will give a damn if he takes Tuesdays off.
That's true. No one's going to wonder where's...
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Kirky boy. All right, Dex, your third and final prediction.
All right, write this down. Dallas Turner records the first sack for the Vikings in week 1.
Okay.
And a little bit of a trapdoor here. If it's a half or combined sack, like with someone else, I still would like that to count.
That's fine.
Okay. Just didn't I have that in the notes too, but I just didn't want that to be a semantic thing of you combined for a sack to bring down Caleb, but records the first sack for the Vikings in week 1.
Trying to think, that might be a touchdown too, because
I feel like it is. It's specific.
He's like Grenard and Van Ginkel would have higher odds to get the first sack. I would say Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, just because like they're going to be on the field
There's a
for
lot of
sure
options
to start the season, and then any other sort of exotic blitz that could get dialed up, and Ivan
It's a touchdown.
Pace. Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, write this down. My final prediction.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Allow me to be the first person on the show, maybe even in football media, to pump the brakes on the Saquon Barkley train in 2025. You know, he just had that record-setting season in so many ways, signed the big contract extension. I'm going to fade Saquon Barkley and his 482 touches last season, which was the 9th most in NFL history since the 1970 merger. And some of the other guys on that list are like John Riggins and Eric Dickerson, these dudes from like the 80s, the early 80s, mid 80s, where it was bell cow season in the NFL. Neck rolls, blood dripping off your nose as you peer over the offensive line. So I'm trying to find a way to quantify this, but I hope it doesn't happen. But I'm going to say one of two things happens. Either Saquon Barkley fails to reach 1,400 yards rushing. So you're going to see like a 600-yard. He had 2,000 yards last year.
Okay.
You're going to see either a 600-yard drop-off or more, or he misses 5 games or more. I'll say or he misses 5 games or more due to injury.
So you hope it doesn't happen, but you're putting the prediction down, which means that you really hope it does happen because you'll get the point.
I mean, I don't want him to get like seriously hurt where his life is in danger or anything. But if he twisted an ankle and missed a month,
well, I was going to say
it would be in line with. There's a lot. I'm telling you, when you look at the workloads, when you get to that level of workload, regular season, postseason, 450 plus touches.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, like Jamal Anderson, Larry Johnson, DeMarco Murray. Arian Foster back injury the next season wiped him out. It's not good usually the season after.
So you don't want Barkley to suffer a life-threatening injury, which is very noble of you. But what if he tears his knee? That doesn't threaten his life.
Yeah, I would like the point in as humane of a way as possible.
There's no way to say I hope it doesn't happen.
I'm fading Saquon Barkley.
Is absurd. I went back. I was like, there's got to be a belt. I just put in Steven Jackson. I was like, Steven Jackson feels like he had a boatload of touches for those like bad Rams teams. And his season or his career high was when he was his 3rd year in the league at 23. He had 436. He led the league in yards from scrimmage that year. But that's still less than 450. That's insane. He had 450.
Yeah, and
touches.
I'm including postseason because Saquon had like 120 touches in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
And I think this when we bring back Purple Daily NFL takes here for training camp, I think there's some fun, non-Vikings discussions, and this is one of them. Just like the return of the bell cow running back in a few instances, but then what are the ramifications moving forward? So there's some examples. I mean, Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, they were fine. Curtis Martin, but old Saquon Barkley, I think it's going to be, if you're drafting him number 1 in your fantasy leagues, I am not a fantasy expert, but
write it down. You like writing things down.
Beware the workload from 2024.
You're cautioning the public.
That's right. So any other final words of wisdom from you guys on this? Write this down. Wednesday here, a month away from training camp.
I think it shows a true Viking diehard when you go on NFL.com and engage in bidding against another person for a game-worn Jared Hall. Like, that is great. I do have a question, though.
And it was Tyler Forness. Forno loved him some Jared Hall. What if he was bidding against Forno?
And Forno also loved himself some Warren Moon, so I could see Forno defending Adrian just in a fist fight together.
Yes. Well, and I mean, Warren Moon was good. I mean, who was this kid? Are you telling me this punk was like defending at that time a Bucks quarterback? Like, who are you defending? But I was going to say the one thing too, though, is can you imagine raising in like Florida 2 kids as diehard Vikings fans, and your daughter says, "Daddy, all I want for Christmas is a Vikings championship," and someday you're going to have to explain that was really always a long shot, honey.
Yeah, it's funny because Santa Claus, I feel like he's pretty patient and pretty open-minded with what he'll go along with. I want Santa Claus. I want world peace. Like, okay, yeah, like we can make that. I want mommy and daddy to get back together. Oh, yeah, okay. I want the Minnesota Vikings to win a Super Bowl. Ho, 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 Sydney. Let's not go too far now.
Yep.
Ho, ho, ho.
Here's your present, lifetime therapy.
Oh, have you seen the Lions backfield?
You know Ben Johnson just got hired as the Bears coach, right?
It's a lump of coal for you.
So I'm thinking Belichick, Lombardi, Landry, Noel, Johnson. Five great.
I might even fight you on Noel. I feel like
Okay,
the rosters were kind of carrying Chuck Noel more than maybe people remember. But yeah, we'll have to see where we put old Ben Johnson on the upcoming. We got a bunch of fun rankings coming up on the show. We did Judd's top 20 controversial Vikings, which we'll get back to that during Feedback Friday. A lot of comments on Judd's interpretation of the list.
Very controversial.
We've got the annual head coach rankings. Where does Kevin O'Connell rank? We've got the all-time all-Jag Vikings team, which will be fun. And then Dex sent us this link yesterday from ESPN.com where they did, and we did this on O-line committee. We went like guy through guy, the all-time, all-quarter century 53-man roster for the NFL. So production from 2000 through 2025, and they put together a 53-man roster and practice squad and coaching staff. And so it'd be fun to devote a full episode to that for the Vikings from 2000 through 2025. 53-man roster, 8 or 10-man practice squad, and then head coach, coordinators. There's a special teams coordinator on this quarter century list too.
Wow, who was it? Do you remember?
I didn't even recognize his name. Let me find it real quick. We got time. Let me find this.
I was just curious who it was.
Was it the Bears guy, like during Hester's years or something?
No, but Hester did make it as the return
guy.
guy.
Hester, he deserved that. I mean, just against the Vikings alone.
Yeah. So Bill Belichick was the head coach. Kyle Shanahan, offensive coordinator.
Seems
really?
Yeah.
Atlanta?
I would like to know the other.
He got them to the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan was the best season of Matt Ryan's
He's in the conversation. I need to see some other names on the list.
They're also giving him credit for he drug Jimmy Garoppolo and also the final pick in the draft, Brock Purdy, to Super Bowls.
Oh, okay. So we're not.
They're taking him and saying, "Wow, the work."
We're taking his head coaching time though too. I thought it might just be if you're the OC, it might just be your OC resume. But okay, yeah, if you take the whole thing, that makes more sense.
Wade Phillips, defensive coordinator, and then Dave Taub, special teams coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
So he coordinated a top 5 special teams unit every season from 2006 through 2017. With what teams?
Dave.
Toub.
I thought he was with the Bears for a period of time.
So
maybe he was.
It was the
Bears.
Bears.
It's Bears? Okay.
It was the Bears.
Yep. So the bulk of that was with the Bears, and then the Chiefs from 2013 through 17, and still with the Chiefs now.
With the Chiefs, yeah. Okay.
Look at that. You come for the Vikings predictions. You stay for the best special teams coordinator in the last 25 years in the NFL.
I like Wade Phillips as a DC, but I feel this list is flawed. If you're going to go with Shanahan as the OC and base his head coaching time as well, Wade Phillips is not my DC then. If it's just pure when you were a coordinator. Well,
doesn't Spags have to be the guy?
How about at least consideration for Zim? Those Cincinnati Ds were really good, and then
Spags has coordinated some of the greatest, most iconic,
I agree
Super
with
Bowl
you.
defenses.
I'm just saying this list is incredibly, again, a Zolgadian thing. You've done something and you didn't run it past me, and it's flawed.
I'll get you the contact information for the
editor-in-chief,
the author. The author.
If you want to do this, it's fine, but you got to have a criteria. You basically threw the criteria out the window because Wade Phillips as a coach was not great. Head coach.
Some of the Vikings on this list: Jared Allen made the edge rusher bin.
Yep.
Steve Hutchinson made the left guard bin.
That's a good amount of Vikings on here.
Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, both in the wide receiver grouping.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there might have Kevin Williams made a practice squad for defensive tackle.
Yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
I think so did Cordero Patterson was the guy to back up Hester, which makes sense.
So we should, maybe like next week or the week after, we just devote a full episode to a Vikings 53-man roster, productivity only from 2000 through 2025, practice squad, and coaching staff. Offensive line coach, assistant offensive line coach.
Bill Musgrave. No question.
And his play card and his this size.
It gets smaller every time they show him.
All right, here's what I want you to do.
What we're gonna do.
Do something. I'm not quite sure what.
Hey, put Peterson 15 yards in the back and just let him go. Go.
Just let him go.
Just let him go.
Call that play where we let him go.
Just let him go. Just check down. What's the play? I don't care. Just check it down. Whatever.
Are you kidding? Christian Ponder's my quarterback. We'll be lucky to get a yard.
All right, that's a wrap on the predictions here. Every single Wednesday, write that down on Purple Daily and the OG edition over on Mackie and Judd. Click that like button and the subscribe button if you could. Help us out. Keep growing this awesome community of Vikings fans on Purple Daily, where we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See you.